Good afternoon, and welcome to Waukesha's new booster pump station. My name is Dan Dukniak, and I'm the General Manager of the Waukesha Water Utility. I have been with the utility for almost 21 years. Sometimes, I just can't believe that. I was asked to apply for the job by Rob Bukema of Bulow Vetter Bukema. He was the labor attorney for the water utility. As a favor to him, I applied. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to thank Rob or not. I haven't decided yet. At that time, Mayor Carol Lombardi was in office. She was on the Water Commission when they decided to give a 35-year-old the opportunity to come and lead the utility through this water supply issue. Little did I know what I was getting myself into, but they believed in me. And Mayor Lombardi, I can't thank you enough and the Commission enough for believing in me and affording me the opportunity to come to Waukesha. As we worked through the water evaluation process, we knew we had to keep the Great Lakes option available to us during negotiations of the Great Lakes Compact. Pat Henderson was in the governor's office at the time and helped provide the community in a straddling county language that gave us the opportunity to make our case. Larry Nelson was mayor when the compact came before the legislature and stuck his neck out supporting the compromise language we felt supported the city, but others disagreed with. But that compact did pass, and we were allowed to apply for Great Lakes Water. So thank you, Larry and Pat, for your work during that process. Later, Sean Riley decided to run for mayor. He won and became mayor in 2014. Right away, I knew he meant it when his slogan was "No drama." He went straight to work and absorbed as much information as possible about the water supply issue. We met regularly, going through all aspects of the water supply analysis in the Great Lakes application. He became and continues to be a great leader and advocate for the city of Waukesha. For me, personally, though, he has truly become a good friend. He has always been a sounding board for me, no matter what it is. He always listens and provides his insight, whether I want it or not. And most of all, he stood beside me and fought for the water supply solution the city was looking for. We even played a few rounds of golf. I let him win whenever we could. I really appreciate that friendship as well as his leadership on this issue. Before I turn it over to Mayor Riley, though, I want to take the time to thank our sponsors for today's event. Black & Veatch, Greeley & Hansen, Jacobs Engineering, Schreiber GR Group, Barbara Griffith & Rogers, R.A. Smith, Ayers, Super Excavators, C.D. Smith, and MTC Testing. Without them, this event would not be possible. Their sponsorships have paid for all costs, and PSC listen, all costs associated with today's event and celebration. Because of this, no city or utility funds will be needed for today's event. I just want to take time and thank the sponsors. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you the Mayor of Waukesha, Mayor Sean Riley.
Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for joining our celebration. We are here to commemorate the completion of a 3-year construction project, the biggest public works project in Waukesha's history, and we are also here to recognize an amazing 20-plus year achievement, permanently solving Waukesha's water supply problem. Waukesha, due to the efforts of hundreds of individuals and organizations over many years, is about to supply countless generations with healthy water. Waukesha's present water supply is contaminated with naturally occurring radium, and the aquifer itself is unsustainable. Nothing is more important to a community's future than safe, reliable drinking water. More than 2 decades ago, the effort to identify and implement a solution to Waukesha's water supply commenced. In 2002, when the first report on water supply alternatives was prepared, no one imagined the time, complexity, and discipline required to achieve safe, reliable water for Waukesha. There were many curves and detours, some predictable, some not so predictable. But through it all, Waukesha never gave up. Today, we are near the end of the journey. Lake Michigan water will soon be flowing to Waukesha's homes, schools, and businesses. We have ensured sustainability by returning the water to the basin after use and after advanced levels of treatment. We did not reach our goals of water reliability and sustainability alone. It took government leaders at the city, county, state, and federal levels. It took our allies in the business community. It took regional cooperation from our water supplier in Milwaukee and 6 other area communities that our pipelines run through. It took the skills and knowledge of dedicated public servants at the Waukesha Water Utility, Public Works, and Clean Water Plant, and elsewhere in city government. Many individuals and entities worked together to achieve our goal. This is why we called our project the Great Water Alliance. The Great Lakes Compact required that our application be unanimously approved by all 8 Great Lakes governors, with input from the premiers of 2 Canadian provinces. We convinced every state that Waukesha had no reasonable alternative to a Great Lakes water supply. That was tough, as the easy response for each state politically would have been to deny the application. Dan Dukniak and I drove around the Great Lakes to explain our project. This road trip was a key component in obtaining approval. What we presented to the Great Lakes states were the scientific reports that were the product of 6 years of questions and intense scrutiny by the DNR. The detailed analysis from technical experts convinced the other states and provinces that Waukesha had no other reasonable alternative other than Great Lakes water. We did not always, Eric, appreciate that the DNR required our analysis be as rigorous and thorough, but it paid off in the long run. Thank you, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Just as important, thank you to all the Great Lakes states and provinces that reviewed our application pursuant to the terms of the compact and determined that the standard for approval was met. At the DNR, I want to specifically thank Eric Ebersberger, Shaylee Pfeiffer, and Adam Frohofer. I also thank David Nasker and Peter Johnson of the Council of Great Lakes Governors for their guidance throughout their approval process. It seems like a long time ago, but in the scope of the project, it really isn't that long, just 6 years instead of 22. I believe that the creation and adoption of the compact and then the Compact Council's consideration and determination of Waukesha's application showed the entire Great Lakes region and the rest of the world that we can and should develop far-reaching agreements that protect regions and resources, strengthen cooperation among entities that otherwise would compete, and ultimately further the goal of making our world better. Mayor Cavalier Johnson from Milwaukee is here with us today. Milwaukee will be our supplier of Lake Michigan water. Milwaukee water was the right supply choice because of its closer connection, low rates, and capacity. Just as important, Milwaukee is a national leader in ensuring safe drinking water. There is no better water. I am proud of the regional cooperation our agreement with Milwaukee represents. It is my hope that regional cooperation continue to flourish. Mayor Johnson, I know that Waukesha and Milwaukee will continue working together on other important issues that benefit our communities and all communities. We also have County Executive Paul Farrell here today. Paul has been a tireless advocate for Waukesha water over the years, along with the County Director of Parks and Land Use, Dale Shaver. Suzanne Kelly in the Waukesha County Business Alliance was also a steadfast ally. The Waukesha County Business Alliance members always understood the need for and lobbied for safe and reliable drinking water for Waukesha. Lawmakers at the federal level were critical to our success. Congressman Scott Fitzgerald, who is with us today, along with U.S. Senators Tammy Baldwin and Ron Johnson, played an instrumental role in Waukesha obtaining a federal low-interest loan for our project, saving our ratepayers $1 million per year. Our state legislators have also been our allies. There he is. Representative Scott Allen is with us today. Along with Scott, Senator Chris Kapenga and State Representative Adam Nyland provided us with needed support on many occasions, including improving the terms of a state loan program that will save significant dollars for our residents and spread costs over generations. The city government leaders who dedicated themselves to this historic effort are too numerous to give them each the credit they deserve. Some need to be mentioned, however. Former mayors Carol Lombardi and Larry Nelson are both here with us today. Without their leadership, we would have nothing to celebrate. I thank our past and present Common Council members, and there's many of them here today, as well as the Waukesha Water Utility Commission members who have had the vision and worked tirelessly over the years. Each of them played a large role in making today happen. I thank you to the past city administrators, is also needed. Thank you to Kevin Lehner, Lori Luther, Ed Henschel, who I know is here, and the endless interim administrator, Steve Crandall, who is also here. They were all critical to our success. The amount of work and expertise provided by present City Attorney Brian Running and past City Attorney Kurt Meitz also needs to be mentioned. As I said, there are literally hundreds of people who played important roles in this project. There are the many consultants who researched the alternatives and prepared the application. There are the individuals who defended us and guided us, especially Paul Kent of Stafford Law. No, I saw him. There he is. There are the engineers who designed the project, and there's a lot of those engineers here today, too. The scientists who ensured its safety, and of course, the individuals that constructed the infrastructure. A huge shout out to the contractors and workers who have the skills and the ability to build 36 miles of underground pipeline with pumps and the power to make it all happen. Let's give them a round of applause. Finally, of course, there is the community itself. The residents of Waukesha believed in this project, believed in our city leaders, and believed in the experts behind the project. Thank you for your support in solving our water problems. I could go on, but if this was the Oscars, the orchestra would have already ended the speech. But before I go, I must thank one more person, Dan Dukniak. Without his leadership, his dedication, patience, and knowledge, I do not believe we would be celebrating this milestone today. I also thank him for his friendship and his humor. Those traits allowed both of us to get through the ups and downs and kept us sane. I guess I'll go off script a little bit too. I also had to kick him in the shins many times for going way too deep into the details of the project with everyone we talked to. Dan Dukniak, also known as Mr. Agua, has been the driving force behind finding Waukesha's permanent water solution. We owe him our gratitude. I'm thinking of calling this place the Dukniak Pump Station, so. Now I ask Mayor Cavalier Johnson to come up here and provide his comments. First, though, Mayor Johnson and I have seen much of each other over the last year working together on legislative issues. I know he shares my passion and enthusiasm for making cities great. He was not aware that I would commit him today to continue working together on other important issues that benefit our communities and all communities, but there was no need to warn him. Chevy Johnson has made that commitment to me and many others since he became mayor. Please help me warmly welcome Milwaukee's Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor. And, you know, Mayor Riley, I think, said it best. There's no better water than Milwaukee water. Right? But it took a lot of time and energy and effort and multiple administrations in order to get us to this point. So it's really difficult. It's really hard to imagine a more complicated effort than the one that brings Milwaukee's water here, right here to Waukesha. It included international consensus, it included multi-state approvals, local negotiations, engineering complexities, and construction hurdles as well. The goal, though, from the outset had been clear. That's to provide a safe source of drinking water to customers of the Waukesha water utility. And Milwaukee was a big part of that solution and will play a significant and big role in the solution that we found. Many elected officials in Milwaukee played significant roles. Many people in the administration stepped up too. And I particularly want to thank, I know our Waterworks, the present Waterworks Superintendent, Patrick Pauly is here, and I want to thank Patrick and his team for being here and all the work that they're doing. Please give them a round of applause. But I particularly want to highlight the efforts of Jennifer Abley. Where's Jennifer? Jennifer Abley is here. Jennifer took on some extraordinary challenges on part of the city of Milwaukee, and we're here because Jennifer Abley delivered results. So thank you very much, Jennifer. So you often see me talking about the power of partnerships, the power of working together to solve some of the most complex challenges that we have facing our community, not just in neighborhoods in the city of Milwaukee, but in our region and across the state of Wisconsin too. So much can be accomplished when in a spirit of cooperation, a spirit of collaboration, that we all work together to achieve positive outcomes. So it's partnership that's led us to today's celebration. I look forward, Mayor, I look forward to more partnership, more working together till we have more celebrations in Milwaukee, in Waukesha, in our region, and across the state of Wisconsin. Thank you so much. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce, maybe perhaps not to introduce to those in this room you know well. I've gotten the opportunity to know him very well over the course of the past year or so. He's become a friend and a partner. Ladies and gentlemen, the Waukesha County Executive, Paul Farrell.
How's it going? You know, it's amazing. I'm standing up here and I'm listening, and I'm thinking, Congressman Fitzgerald, you were Senator Fitzgerald when we were working on this. Think about how many iterations we've gone through in public leadership to get this job done. Multiple mayors on both sides, multiple governors, county executives. I think it's a testament to what really is southeastern Wisconsin and Wisconsin itself. When we know there's a challenge that we have to overcome, we bear down and figure out how to get it done. And as I was thinking today, trying to put words on paper, which I don't have because I left them on my desk. Larry, you know how that goes. I just started thinking about all of your different organizations in the iterations that we've gone through. I saw Matt Maroney out here. Matt, there you are. Matt was in the governor's office, in Walker's office when we were working through this project. There are so many faces that have been touched by this that I want to say thank you. You know, when you think Waukesha County, we have 425,000 people that call it home. City of Waukesha is about 75,000. They now have fresh drinking water. As I was telling Carol, I've been surviving on Mountain Dew the last 10 years at the office because I can't drink the water. Just kidding, but it is an exciting opportunity. And when you think about fresh water and what we have, it really is a key component to economic development and the strength of a region and the strength of a community. So my hat's off. I was telling Dan, I said, man, you got to find something new because job security is out the window when we turn these things on. Now, I really should say is, I actually thought this was the Waukesha Water Park. I was looking for the big slide. I know I'm the comic relief. Congratulations to the city of Waukesha, to the city of Milwaukee, to the businesses that call Waukesha County and the city of Waukesha home, and to the community itself, to the residents. What we are seeing today is really historic. When you think about everything that went into it, all the people that have touched it. You guys should be proud of today, everybody. Congratulations, thank you.
Talking about dynamic leaders, we are lucky to have 3 dynamic leaders here today in our community. Actually more, but 3 up here in front of me. So thank you, Paul. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Joe Pyatt, the president of our Waukesha Water Utility Commission. But before I say anything about Joe, I have to say a few things about the city of Waukesha officials. The former and present members of the Common Council and the Water Commission have been incredibly supportive throughout the many years of this process. They have done their due diligence related to the water issue. They have been with me at numerous public meetings, allowing the public to ask questions and get answers, and asking many questions themselves. I think one of the first meetings went over 5 hours, and not one of them left. They put up with the meetings the utility had in each aldermanic district. We had 75 to 100 people at each meeting, allowing time to provide input and get the questions answered, as that has helped make this an extremely transparent process and one that I was very proud to be a part of. The Common Council and Commission did their homework, concluded this was the city's only long-term option, and provided unwavering support the entire way. It did not go unnoticed, and I thank each and every one of you for that. During my tenure at Waukesha, which has been 21 years, as is well documented, I have also been blessed with an incredible management team. We did not get to this point because of me. As we all know, it takes a village to get the most important projects done, and they were my village. The leadership they provided allowed me the time necessary to work on the water supply issue. I would like to thank former managers Jeff Detro, Jim Price, Peggy Stino, Donna Scholl, Joe Shiro, and Nancy Quirk. Even though you are no longer with us in Waukesha, your work and contributions to our success did not go unnoticed. I'm currently blessed with an incredible management team of Lynn Gomez, Courtney Nagel, Chris Walter, and Kelly Zalstra. All of their hard work on this project at the utility and support of me throughout this process has been nothing short of incredible, and I thank you for that. We also have an incredible group of dedicated employees, and they're all here today. From office professionals to field operators and to the technical service group, each and every one of you deserve a special thanks because of your work. In fact, just yesterday we replaced our last lead or substandard service in the city of Waukesha from the main to the meter. Waukesha no longer has lead services in our system, and that is because of the hard work of these employees. This group is incredible, and I am truly grateful for each and every one of them. Now on to Joe. Joe is the chairman of our Water Commission and also a professor of chemistry and environmental science at Carroll University. Joe was appointed to the Water Commission on October 10th. Do you regret that, Joe? Yeah, yet. And then he became commission president in November of 2013. Being on the commission wasn't enough. After being appointed to the commission at a critical point in the application process, Joe took the time to review the application documents. As a professor, you know he read all 3,000 plus pages of the application. After reading the materials and having several meetings with staff and consultants, Joe became a critical advocate for us. He led the Water Commission through the approval of the application and to the construction at this point. Joe, thank you for your time and dedication that you have given the utility and the residents of the city of Waukesha. You are a true professional, and I am proud to call you and the other commissioner my bosses. With that, I give you Joe Pyatt.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you, Dan. I think of Dan as Bill Mulholland. Look that name up sometime. So for 13 years, I've been honored to be a member and president of the City of Waukesha Water Utility Commission. Our commission has had the rare opportunity to shepherd the project from concept to construction to now completion. The Water Commission is a group of fellow city residents and water ratepayers that provide oversight and direction to the utility in cooperation with the City of Waukesha Common Council. I am grateful for the opportunity to be part of this dedicated team that has helped make the Lake Michigan Water Project a success and to represent them today. Specifically, Secretary Joan Francoeur, Jerry Curry, Jeff Fowle, Paul Wybera, in addition to Common Council Representative Peter Bartels and Mayor Sean Riley. I also would like to thank former Commissioners Daniel Warren and Greg Zinda, who dedicated many years to the utility, including planning for this change to a new water supply. And former Mayor Larry Nelson deserves recognition for his time on the commission and his work to ensure that the Great Lakes Compact gave Waukesha a chance to apply for Lake Michigan water. For some, this project has spanned in excess of 23 years, from the Sewer Pack Regional Water Supply Studies from 2000 to 2010, to the Great Lakes application process and governor's approval from 2010 to 2016, to 4 years of permitting from 2016 to 2020, and finally to 3 years of construction from 2020 to 2023. There were significant obstacles to overcome, but the members of the Utility Commission and the members of the Common Council, along with Mayor Riley, Dan Dukniak, the Waukesha business community, especially the Business Alliance, and many more, stayed committed to the science which would lead to a safe and sustainable water supply. This closed-loop Lake Michigan water supply system proved to be the most affordable, the most reliable for the long term, and the most environmentally sustainable regarding both short and long-term impacts. I saw firsthand the 5 years of intensive scrutiny by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources professionals, as well as a subsequent review by Great Lakes governors and premiers. I want to thank all of them for their commitment to both science and administering the law which led to their approvals of our project. As an environmental scientist and educator at Carroll University, I would like to remind people that this project sets a great precedent for prudent multi-jurisdictional water resource planning based on watershed scale principles. In addition to sustainable use and return of water, the project has other environmental benefits to our region. For example, ending our groundwater use will help the local deep and shallow aquifers recover, which in turn will benefit the hydrology of area lakes, wetlands, and streams by increasing base flow, which is a positive benefit for those who live in this region and beyond. Also, our new water supply will be much softer, meaning most people will decide they no longer need water softeners or will use significantly less salt if they keep them. That means less sodium and chloride will be discharged to the waterways, which is a positive outcome for aquatic organisms, which we all care about. Another significant benefit is that the additional flow of treated wastewater to the river will help improve the water quality of the river and improve the salmon fishery in the river. But the Commission is most proud that we will be resolving a community health issue that has been lingering for years, and we are ensuring reliable water for generations to come. This success is a credit to the hundreds of people who have made this project a reality. The Commission especially recognizes Dan Dukniak and the dedicated staff of the Waukesha Water Utility. They're all around here somewhere. These folks have been on overdrive for a long time now. We also thank the multitude of consultants and their teams who provided scientific, engineering, and legal expertise, and of course, the help of our elected representatives at every level of government, and the cooperation and patience of the neighboring communities where our pipelines were built. But the project also depended on the support that we had from our Waukesha community throughout these efforts, not just from city officials or from the business community, but from the residents of our city who recognize the importance of providing a long-term solution to our water needs. On behalf of those residents and on behalf of the Waukesha Water Utility Commission, I want to say congratulations and thank you to everyone who played a role, big or small, in making our goals a reality. Thank you.
All right, now I want to introduce our final speaker, Suzanne Kelly. Suzanne Kelly is the president and the CEO of the Waukesha County Business Alliance. Suzanne Kelly and Amanda Payne from the Business Alliance have been advocates throughout this entire process. When I needed letters from business leaders, testimony in support of our efforts, or help getting the message out, the Business Alliance was always there. The Business Alliance strongly encouraged us to look at Milwaukee as a potential partner, which was a win-win for both communities. If there ever was a great example of regional cooperation that the Alliance believed in, this is it. As I have said before, this project took a dedicated team of community leaders, and the Business Alliance was a critical part of that team. For that, I will forever be thankful. With that, I give you Suzanne Kelly.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a special day for the city of Waukesha. Congratulations, Mayor Riley, Dan, and the incredible Waukesha Water Utility team. City of Milwaukee, thank you, Mayor Johnson, for joining us today, and anyone who was involved in this historic project. The Waukesha County Business Alliance is proud to have been a long-standing supporter of Waukesha's quest for Lake Michigan water. This project has been a policy priority for us and our business community for well over a decade. And we are really thrilled to be celebrating with you today. Having a healthy, sustainable source of water is a huge win for anyone who lives in the city of Waukesha. It's a critical asset that makes this community attractive to all that call Waukesha home. And it's very important to our employers and their employees. Throughout this process, we've watched the city of Waukesha become a leader in water conservation efforts. The entire team should be proud of this incredible work. And one added bonus has been the tremendous regional collaboration. This project has highlighted the importance of finding ways to work together across county lines. It's a win for our entire region, and the Business Alliance is proud to have been a small part of it. Thank you to everyone who stepped up with this project and demonstrated that real leadership can overcome the most challenging obstacles. Again, congratulations to all who are involved.
Well, thank you, Suzanne. Now it's my turn. Before I wrap this up and turn it back over to the mayors, I would like to just take a few minutes to make a few comments. I'm going to apologize up front if I forget anybody. I do not mean to offend anyone by forgetting. There are just so many people who played a role in this. I could go on forever and ever, and those of you who have talked to me know I could do that. And I know you would like to get the celebration at some point, and I would like to get to the celebration at some point also. First, about the facilities. Everything that was constructed here was completed under the scrutiny of the Public Service Commission. The PSC Chair, Rebecca Valk, and her staff, I would like to thank them, especially Andy Galvin, Kathy Butzloff, and Andrew Fisher, for their thoroughness in reviewing the plans as part of their construction authorization, as well as the financial information during our rate cases. Their work protects the public by ensuring costs are justified and reasonable. On behalf of the residents of the city of Waukesha, I want to thank them publicly for that. This new facility is just one small part of the infrastructure Waukesha has built in the past 3 years to bring Lake Michigan water from Milwaukee to Waukesha. That will currently be about 6 million gallons a day of safe and reliable lake water. That will completely replace our groundwater source. There is also a pumping station in the city of Milwaukee and 13 miles of new pipeline to bring water from Milwaukee to this facility, where there are 2 8.6 million gallon reservoirs to store the water for our use. There were phosphorus treatment upgrades and a return flow pump station that was built at our clean water plant. From there, 23 miles of new pipeline will take our highly treated return flow water to the Root River and eventually back to Lake Michigan. That will keep the Great Lakes whole and improve the flow and quality of the water in the Root River in the process. The site we are at also includes a new water tower to improve pressures on the east side of the city of Waukesha. These facilities were all part of this project. It took just 3 years to build all this infrastructure, but it has taken more than 20 years for Waukesha and its supporters to have made it a reality. As I have said, I've been with Waukesha Water Utility for most of that time, since 2003. I was attracted by the challenge Waukesha faced of identifying and implementing a radium-free, environmentally sustainable water supply for its residents. Of course, the solution did not just need to be one that made sense from an engineering standpoint. It also needed to be achievable legally and politically. But it's safe to say that I didn't really know what I was getting into 20 years ago. And I think it's even safer to say that my wife and kids didn't know what we were getting into either. But the challenge was one that our entire city took on. That includes hundreds of city employees, elected officials, hired consultants, community members who dedicated themselves to the effort. 20 years later, thanks to all these people, we are about to turn on the taps. In a week or so, we will turn them on, and that will bring safe, reliable drinking water from Lake Michigan flowing to our customers for generations to come. I am especially proud to say that we implemented this generational solution on time and within our budget. Many of the people who dedicated themselves to this new water supply are here with us today in person, and many more are with us in spirit. On behalf of the city and for myself, I want to say thank you. We have been blessed with an extraordinary team of public officials, scientists, and engineers, and yeah, Paul, even an attorney or two, you and Brian, and Vanessa. Waukesha also owes its thanks to many regulators who treated us fairly and honestly. In particular, I want to thank the staff and leadership of the Department of Natural Resources, especially Eric Ebersberger, for his incredible efforts throughout the process. Eric and I, and you can ask him, had many late evening discussions about what documentation was needed to put Waukesha in the best position possible for an approval. We didn't always agree, and there were many difficult conversations, but it was that guidance that led to our completed application, which again totaled over 3,000 pages by the end of the process. That provided the record needed to gain approval under the Great Lakes Compact. At this point, I am confident Shaylee Pfeiffer and Adam Freierhofer and other DNR staff that worked so hard on this project are as happy and relieved as I am that we're about to be complete. Thank you to all of them. Waukesha also owes its gratitude to the 7 different municipalities our pipelines needed to travel through. Thank you for your cooperation and continued patience as we complete the final restoration. We are especially grateful to the City of Milwaukee. Waukesha and Milwaukee both recognize the advantages of an agreement to bring water from Milwaukee Water Works to Waukesha and created a great example of the benefits of regional cooperation. Thank you, Mayor Johnson, for joining the celebration. But I also want to thank the former and current Milwaukee staff that has worked tirelessly for us on this process. Jennifer Abely and Ghassan Kurban, who negotiated and worked through the approval of the initial agreement. This was one of the toughest and most difficult negotiations that I have ever been part of. There were many difficult conversations and many meetings, but in the end, a deal was struck that was beneficial for both parties. Karen Detmer followed that up by reworking the contract, and that included details that were unknown at the time that the initial contract was approved. And Patrick Pauly and his staff have been working tirelessly with us on the project, completing their end of the project on time as well. So thank you all for your efforts that did not go unnoticed. The City of Milwaukee will be a great partner for us. Then there were the years of planning and engineering that took place. Jacobs Engineering, led by Tony Myers, Linda Moore, and Brent Brown. They worked with us from the initial water supply study in 2002, so Tony's been here as long as I have. Through the development of the application and the supporting technical memoranda and the approval process. Without their dedication and effort, none of this would have been possible. Tony Myers continues to work with us today on water transition and water quality planning, Brent Brown on return flow monitoring and volumetric planning, and Linda Moore on conservation planning. On behalf of the Waukesha residents, I want to thank you for your efforts. This was followed by the design and engineering of the project. Katie Richardson, Andy Martin, and Ryan Christopher of Greeley Hansen put together an outstanding team of consultants that guided us through the many challenges the design and implementation put in front of us. No challenges were as difficult as the change in suppliers to Milwaukee, and later, the change in the location of these facilities right here that we're standing in today. These changes required a complete redesign, not once, but twice. They were always there and ready to accept any challenge we were confronted with, and I will always respect the flexibility and teamwork you promoted throughout the process. Thank you for that. This was then followed by construction and construction management team at Black & Veatch. I'm especially thankful for the skills and talents the Black & Veatch team brought to the table. They were challenged by contractors daily and were always up to the task that maintained the integrity we sought throughout the construction process. Their work will ensure the residents of Waukesha have a solid water supply and return flow system for generations to come. Waukesha is proud to have worked with you on this job. We are especially thankful for Paul Boersma, Jeff Champion, Jim Cobb, Matt Hayes and Colin Cruz of Black and Beach, as well as Chris Stamborski and Mike Menzel of R.A. Smith, a team member of Black and Beach who served as the boots on the ground, monitoring the daily construction activities. Thank you for your endless work on the construction side of this. So let's give them a round of applause. We are also thankful for the contractors, Super Excavators and C.D. Smith, who provided a professional team of individuals who completed this project for the residents of the city. The city will forever be thankful for your incredible work and talents. Finally, we have several people that have worked with us on this project for almost the entire duration. Bill Viney of Barbara Griffith and Rogers worked with us in Washington to provide assistance with federal officials whenever necessary. Thank you, Bill, for your efforts. Bill McClenahan and Mike D'Amato of Schreiber GR Group, I truly don't know how we would have done this without your assistance. Your work throughout the compact passage, the application process, through the negotiations with Milwaukee, and the easements issues with Milwaukee County, the number of times you were turned to for advice and expertise is endless. We can't thank you enough for your efforts. Attorneys. Yes, we had attorneys. We had Brian Running at the city. He has worked with us and continues to work with us on numerous issues. And Paul Kent of Stafford Law successfully represented us through the case when our application for Great Lakes was challenged. Vanessa Wishart from Stafford Law, who helped us during the construction authorization and rate authorization processes. Brian, Paul, and Vanessa remain a critical part of our team. Bruce Baker is here today. I didn't know where to put you, Bruce, and with regulators or legal, I'm not sure exactly, but Bruce has been a tremendous asset to us in terms of providing advice in the regulatory perspective, so we want to thank you all for that. Finally, I cannot end without thanking my family. My parents and mother-in-law are here today. You have endlessly supported me throughout the process, and I really appreciate it. My wife, Jill, and our 2 boys. When I started this process, we were married 10 years. Josh was 6 and Justin was 2. Now we've been married for almost 31 years, and our boys are 26 and 22. Josh graduated from college, is working at Green Bay Packaging, and is getting married next year. Justin graduated from college and works in the city of Waukesha at Husco. My wife has put up with long hours and many meetings over the years, covering for me at the many events. I'm sorry. I needed that. She has put up with the many meetings over the years, covering for me at the many events I should have been at. They also had to deal with and put up with my never-ending ups and downs throughout this project, walking fast and listening to me when things were not going so well, and eating ice cream, of course, and celebrating when things did go well. I can't thank you enough, and I love you with all my heart. Stop crying, Josh. Your love and support did not go unnoticed, and I will forever be grateful for that. I cannot end without thanking 2 people who were always there for me whenever any challenge came up. They were people that helped me up during the tough times and brought me down and grounded me when I was feeling really good. They always knew how to keep me balanced so that I would make it through this process, and I think that they know who they are. Matt Maroney, the president of Vanguard, and Dale Shaver, the director of Waukesha Parks and Land Use. They were always great sounding boards with solid advice, even when I didn't want it. You 2 kept me sane throughout the process and continue to do this today. I will forever be thankful for that. I will now turn it back to the mayors for a final toast before we can end this program and get to the real celebration. Thank you again to everyone for your support and coming out today to celebrate. Our work is not quite done yet as we finalize preparations to ensure a smooth transition to Great Lakes water for our customers. Our goal is to begin the transition at some point between September 14th and September 18th. Once started, the transition will take approximately 5 days for most customers and up to a month for all customers. The construction of our infrastructure is complete, and that's what we're celebrating today. But we're still finalizing the equipment and the water quality testing before we move that water through our system and into our customers' homes. Please make sure you visit the Waukesha website or Facebook page and follow the City of Waukesha e-newsletter put out by Rebecca Peterson, who does an excellent job as the city's communications and engagement manager. You can also visit the Great Water Alliance webpage and Facebook page managed by Chris Mortensen and his team at Mortensen Kim Radius, who serve as the utilities consultants. There you will find the most up-to-date information. Last, I just have one announcement. If you're headed to Tuscan Hall, they should be open in about 30 minutes following this event. However, many of us have photos and other details to wrap up and may not arrive until 4 p.m. With that, I will ask Mayors Riley and Johnson to use their commemorative glasses, where both Waukesha and Milwaukee are represented, to lead us in one final toast to celebrate this partnership. Mayors?
Let's stand here for a second. Okay, so real quick, I did this with Mayor Barrett a number of years ago. I don't even remember what the toast was, but I do remember I said 3 things to him, is we're both mayors, we're both Irish, and we're both the same height. So I can easily say the same thing, it's just like one thing is still wrong. So let's do it this way. Do you have anything to say?
Nothing better than Milwaukee water.
That may be used a couple times by Milwaukee. But raise your glass for, here, this way, the paper. I learned that from Ray's Grain. To the success of this project, to the healthy, clean water for Waukesha for generations, and to Milwaukee Water Works, which we'll be drinking. Cheers.
Cheers. Mr. Agua.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. That concludes our event.